Hello students, in today's lecture we will learn about engine control unit or electronic control unit that is very widely used in new cars. All types of cars now having such type of unit in its main as a main unit for controlling the different functions of the car. I am Dr. Ashish Bikhar and I would like to appeal you that to subscribe my YouTube channel. My name of the YouTube channel is Knowledge Link. So this is a topic number 2.4. Engine control unit ECU is a part of a subject unit number 2 of power engineering and refrigeration. So let us start to know how is the structure of engine control unit. In this particular lecture we will learn about what is the background of ECU, how to define ECU, what are the components of engine control unit, what are the uses of engine control unit, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of ECU. So what is ECU? The use of the term ECU may be used to refer as an engine control unit. However, ECU also refers to as an electronic control unit. So engine control unit or electronic control unit, these are the two abbreviations or two words that we are in connection with ECU. The long form of ECU is maybe a engine control unit or electronic control unit, which is a component of any automotive mechatronic system. Fundamentally, the ECU controls the injection of the fuel and in a petrol engines the timing of the spark to ignite it. ECU determines the position of the engine's internals using a crankshaft position sensor so that injectors and ignition system are activated at precisely the correct time. An internal combustion engine is essentially a big air pump that powers itself using the fuel. As the air is sucked in, enough fuel has to be provided to create power to sustain the engine's operation while having a useful amount left over to propel the car when required. This is a combination of air and fuel is called mixture. Too much mixture and the engine will full throttle, and too little the engine will not be able to power itself or the car. Not only is the amount of mixture is important, but the ratio of that mixture has to be correct. Too much fuel, too little oxygen, and the combustion is dirty and wasteful. Too little fuel, too much oxygen makes the combustion slow and weak. So for that purpose, one unit that for controlling such type of mixture, one unit we have to install into the car, that is called an ECU. So these are the functions, various functions that has been performed by the ECU. You will see in this picture, ECU is in connection with the engine control, airbag deployment, adaptive front lighting, adaptive cruise control, automatic braking, electric power steering, idle start or stop, then active vibration, remote we can say remote keyless entry, blind spot detection, seat position control, electronic stability control, anti-lock braking system, parking system, plus instrument cluster, interior lighting, voice data communication, active cabin noise suppression, entertainment system, battery management, lane correction, electronic toll correction, then navigation, security system, active suspension. These are the several functions that are nowadays controlled with the ECU. The ECU has the job of controlling the fuel injection, ignition and ancillaries of the engine using digitally stored equations and numeric tables rather than by analog means. An ECU has to deal with many variables when deciding the correct mixture ratio. These variables are engine, what is the demand of the engine or cooling temperature, air temperature, after that fuel temperature, fuel quality, varying filter restriction, air pressure, engine pumping efficiency. So these are the various variables ECU has to deal with. ECU is an electronic device that controls a specific function. ECU function may range from controlling the engine to controlling the wiper of the controlling of the brakes. Modern car can have 100 electronic control unit or even more. An ECU might control only one system in a vehicle, or it could control multiple systems. So electronic control unit is an electronic device that controls specific function. And modern cars, we have to use 100 we can have 100 electronic control units. So what are the important elements of electronic control unit? First is microcontroller, second is memory, after that communication, electronic control unit software. Let us see working of ECU. Depending on the role, ECU gets data from various sections of the car. For example, when a passenger presses the door lock or unlock the button on the car door, a door lock ECU receives the input. Crash sensors and sensors that detect when someone is seated in the specific seat would provide input to the airbag ECU. In addition, forward-facing radars that detect when the vehicle is approaching an impediment too quickly would provide input to an automatic emergency braking ECU. The ECU would then communicate with actuators, instructing them to take action in response to the inputs. The door lock ECU is an our instance would trigger an actuator to lock or unlock the associated door. Depending on the location of the passengers, the airbag ECU would decide which airbag to deploy and then command the actuator to do so. To avoid a collision, the automated emergency braking ECU would apply the brakes. So the ECU is commonly referred to as an engine's brain. In relatively tiny case, it combines a computer, a switching system, and a power management system. It must incorporate 4 separate areas of activity to function even at a rudimentary level. First is input. This is how ECU gathers the data it needs to make decisions, and it often includes temperature and pressure sensors, on-off signals, and data from other modules within a vehicle. A coolant temperature sensor or an accelerator pedal position sensor are the examples of inputs. Requests from the anti-lock braking system module such as traction control application may also be considered. Processing. The processor must determine output characteristics such as fuel injector pulse width as directed by the software stored within the unit once the data has been acquired by the ECU. Not only does the processor read the program to determine the necessary output, but it also keeps tracks of its own data such as learning, mixture changes, and mileage. Third is output. The ECU can then take action on the engine, providing the proper amount of power to accurately regulate actuators, controlling the width of the fuel injector pulse, the precise timing of the ignition system, the opening of an electronic throttle body, or the activation of radiator cooling fan are the examples of these. Fourth is power management. For the hundreds of internal components to function properly, the ECU requires a lot of internal power. Furthermore, the ECU must supply the necessary voltage to components throughout the car for various sensors and actuators to function. For sensors, this might be as low as 5 volts or as high 200 volts for a fuel injector circuits. Not only must the voltage is corrected, but also output must also take more than 30 amperes, which generates a significant amount of heat. Thermodynamic management is also important aspect of ECU design. What are the types of ECU? Vehicles with ECUs are classified based on the job they perform. Following are few of the examples. Number 1, engine control module. The ECM uses sensors to guarantee that the engine receives the proper amount of fuel and ignition timing for maximum power and efficiency. Second is brake control module. The BCM, which is found in vehicles equipped with anti-lock brakes, ensures that the wheels does not slide and determine when apply the brakes and when to go off the brake to prevent the wheels from locking up. Third is transmission control module, TCM. TCM, the TCM when used in automatic vehicle ensures that you get the smoothest shifts possible by analyzing the car's engine RPM and acceleration. Fourth is telematic control module, the TCU. Another TCU, this is one with the same abbreviation, verifies that the car's onboard services are operational. It is in the charge of the vehicle's satellite navigation as well as its internet and phone communication. Suspension control module SCM ensures the correct ride height and optional suspension modification depending on the driving circumstances in cars with active suspension systems. So these are some of the types of ECU. What are the advantages of ECU? We get power and torque. We can have better fuel economy. We can enhance the performance, drivability, throttle response has been improved, customize all the liking. What are the disadvantages? Fuel may be high. Insurance premiums for the automobile get costlier. The car is put under more stress. Possibility of voiding the warranty. It is not inexpensive. Thank you very much. Please do subscribe my YouTube channel Knowledge Link. Thank you again.